scaling up the special strategic relationship through trade and investment. Taking forward the Prime Minister's Make in India initiative, this business partnership will strengthen bilateral ties and provide a boost to the Korea Plus program, which is a gateway for Korean investors. We're very honored on this occasion to welcome the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji. We welcome the Honorable Minister for Commerce and Industry, Government of India, Shri Suresh Prabhu, Mr. Paik Un-gyu, the Honorable Minister for Trade, Industry and Energy, Republic of Korea, and all our other dignitaries on the dais. To begin the session, I invite Mr. Ramesh Abhishek, Secretary, Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion, Government of India, to present the opening remarks.
Very good morning, Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, Honorable Industry and Commerce and Industry Minister, Shri Suresh Prabhu, Honorable Mr. Paik Un-gyu, Minister of Trade, Industry and Energy, Republic of Korea, Mr. Bang Sang-hoon, President and CEO, Chosun Ilbo, Mr. Young Man Park, Chairman, Korea Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Yong Gil Song, President, India-Korea Friendship Association of National Assembly of Korea, Ms. Shobhana Kamineni, President, Confederation of Indian Industry, Mr. Chandrajit Banerjee, Director General CII, ladies and gentlemen. It is such a pleasure and privilege as well as honor to welcome all of you to this very important India-Korea Business Summit 2018. The last summit was held in 2016 and it was a big success, and this time the scale is much, much larger. In the last few years, especially since the first summit was held, we have seen growing interest of Korean business in India. We have seen some major investments happening, and you are aware that major ease of doing business work is being done in India, reflected in our rankings in World Bank Doing Business report. Major reforms like GST have been implemented in India. They are absolutely game-changing, transformative reforms. So with such vision of our leaders and commitment of the business leaders to take advantage of all the opportunities, this is an excellent setting for the second India-Korea Business Summit. I extend my warm welcome to all of you, and I'm sure that the sessions today, all the sessions being planned, will be extremely productive and useful and take our business and economic relationships to a new height. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now invite Mr. Bang Sang-hoon, President and CEO, Chosun Ilbo, to present his remarks.
Namaskar. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to extend a sincere welcome to everyone who joined us for the second India-Korea Business Summit, co-hosted by Chosun Ilbo and KOTRA, as well as the Confederation of Indian Industry. It is my great honor to welcome such distinguished guests today. First of all, I'd like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Thank you very much. And I would like to thank Minister Suresh Prabhu from the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. And I also appreciate all of the Indian business leaders, including Ms. Shobhana Kamineni, the President of CII. And I also thank Mr. Song Yong-gil, President of Korea-India Parliamentarian Friendship Group, Minister Paik Un-gyu from the Ministry of Trade, Industry and Energy, and Parliamentarian Min Hong-chul, Im Jong-sung, Jung Tae-oh from the National Assembly. Furthermore, I'd like to extend my appreciation to Korean business leaders, including Park Yong-man, Chairman of the Korea Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Choi Tae-won, Chairman of SK Holdings, Jung Ri-sun, Vice Chairman of Hyundai Motors, Son Kyung-sik, Chairman of CJ, Jo Yang-ho, Chairman of Korean Air, 조현준, Chairman of Hyosung Corporation, 권호준, CEO of POSCO, 윤부근, Vice Chairman of Samsung Electronics, 박진수, Vice Chairman of LG Chem, 허태수, Vice Chairman of GS Home Shopping, 김창범, Vice Chairman of Hanwha Chemical Corporation, 김석준, Chairman of 쌍용 ENC, 변대규, Chairman of Naver, 김택진, CEO of NC Soft Corporation, 김병원, Chairman of NACF, 함영주, President of KEB 하나뱅k, 최현만, Executive Vice Chairman of Mid-Asset Dale Corporation. Today, at this meaningful event, I'd like to talk about not so well-known stories between our two nations, which illuminates our precious tie. During the Korean War, India dispatched 6,800 soldiers, including medical units, which treated 200,000 Korean soldiers. Joseon Daily newspaper reported this in 1953. One of the dispatched soldiers, Lieutenant Colonel Yuni Nayar, was killed in action near Daegu City in 1951. His wife was pregnant at the time. She gave birth to a daughter after her husband's death. When she passed away in 2009, she wished to be buried with her husband at his gravesite in Korea. Today, the graves of Lieutenant Colonel Nayar and his wife are well preserved in Korea. The second India-Korea Business Summit is aimed to strengthen ties between Korea and India from relationship united by blood to relationship united by economic prosperity. Once again, I'd like to thank Prime Minister Modi. I would also like to extend my deep appreciation to all the attendees from both countries. India and Korea, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. Dhanyawad.
Thank you, sir. I'd now like to invite Mr. Park Yong-man, Chairman, Korea Chamber of Commerce and Industry, to please address the gathering.
Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First, I want to congratulate the India-Korea Business Summit for the successful convening of its second meeting. It has been 2 years since my last visit to India, and I can feel that the Indian economy is indeed on a very solid track, with an impressive growth outlook as the fastest growing economy among the G20 countries now. I'm also encouraged by the positive mood that is fostering enhanced business cooperation between our two nations. Korea's new government identifies India as a pivotal counterpart country in promoting its fresh diplomatic initiative known as the New Southern Policy. And more Korean companies look forward to doing business with their Indian counterparts. KCCI is currently reviewing 3 topics in support of the business community. First, we need to upgrade the Korea-India Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, CEPA. Although it offered a new turning point in trade, many business leaders feel that still more can be done on the low level of concessions and adjusting the strict application of the rules of the origin. As if on cue, today's main theme is related to this topic, and we want to receive valuable insights so we may fashion improved policy suggestions. Second, the Korea-India CEO Forum, jointly launched by KCCI and FICCI 2 years ago, will soon be held again. In preparing for the second forum, we will consider issues of high relevance, such as technology startups and the fourth industrial revolution. Third, we are looking into weaving together the fragmented network of Korea business in India. This strengthened network will contribute to making stronger local connections and providing an experience sharing platform for the business of our two countries. In promoting this initiative, we will tap into the establishment experience we had in ASEAN. Last month, the Honorable Prime Minister said that India replaces red tape with red carpet. We warmly welcome that development, and Korean business look forward to linking arms with Indian companies to walk along that carpet together. I sincerely hope that our closer bilateral cooperation will lead to a shared and durable prosperity for our two nations. Thank you for your kind attention. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now request Madam Shobhana Kamineni, President CII, to present the Indian industry perspective.
Honorable Prime Minister, distinguished ministers, excellencies, my colleagues from industry, both from Korea and India, very good morning to all of you. It's indeed a very special honor that the Prime Minister Modi joins us at the India Business Summit this morning. Due to his vision and deft economic management, India today stands at an enviable position in the economic journey. The landmark reforms introduced have opened up new possibilities for the world in one of the largest and fastest growing economies. We compliment you, sir, on unleashing the potential of Indian industry. I welcome you to this deliberation. My welcome to the Korean and Indian trade ministers and my colleagues from Korea and the Indian industry. CII is indeed delighted to be partnering with the Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion, the Government of India, Invest India, Kotra, and Chosun Aibo to organize this summit. The presence of this premier Korean delegation indicates a strong interest that Korean businesses have in India. And this is an interest that we picked up on last year when a CII team and when we went to Korea and met a cross-section of Korean businesses. I welcome you back to our country. Korea's business presence in India has been expanding. While bilateral investments are robust, the trade was close to 17 billion in 2016-17. Korean companies are leading brands in India with a $4.5 billion of investment, and Indian FDI in Korea is touching 3 billion. But I will not be exaggerating if I say that within this room, we probably have a market cap of companies and net worth of companies exceeding $1 trillion. And this trillion has the potential as India's journey from a $2.4 trillion economy to a $5 trillion economy by 2025. This is our privilege and this is our endeavor that we will participate in making this a reality. We two large Asian economies must work together. Given the strong governmental leadership and CEPA, I would like to mention a few areas that we can leverage jointly. One, IT and electronics. South Korea's hardware manufacturing and India's software services are a winning combination. The certification of manufacturing can derive greatly from bilateral cooperation. Two, we would like Korea's skilled talent in engineering to assist in India's apparel training and design centers. This would improve the competitiveness of Indian textile products in the export markets. 3, there are many opportunities for Korean VCs to invest in new Indian startups. Korean companies can showcase and promote their incubation and academic prowess to Indian stakeholders. 4, there is significant potential for Korean and Indian companies to synergize in manufacturing sectors such as chemicals, automobiles, and auto components, food processing, and textiles. We are inspired by the guidance of the Honorable Prime Minister, and we're honored by his personal interest in the India-Korea economic relations. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Madam. I now invite Mr. Song Yung-gil, President of the India-Korea Friendship Association of the National Assembly of Korea, to address us.
Good morning, Honorable Modi Prime Minister, distinguished guests from home and abroad. My name is Song Yung-gil. I am currently serving as Chairman of the Presidential Committee on Northern Economic Cooperation, as well as the President of Korea-India Parliamentary Friendship Group, and Vice President Min Chol, Im Jong-seok, Jung Tae-ok. It is a great honor for me to take part in the second Korean-India Business Summit along with the 900 distinguished guests. Today's occasion is all the more meaningful as we convene here in India, one of the birthplaces of civilization, to seek new opportunity for the future of India and Korea. India is starrizing again. A country with a population of 1.3 billion is showing its imposing presence with impressive force on its path toward new growth. What underlies its presence in an excellent ability of philosophical reasoning and the power of religion that invented the world of zero. India is unique tolerance based on its multilingual, multicultural, multi-religious diversity serve as a foundation for its presence. More than anything, India's achievement has been strongly backed by its potential as the largest democratic state in the world, with a record of more than 800 million voters in the India general election of 2014. That's why India is the future. We convene here in India, the first country to bring the civilization to the world. A country's inspiring philosophy and religion for the world, and a young and hopeful country with an average age of 29, and a country that continues its democracy without the political turmoil nor coup d'etat. Also, we are here today to put on hash together with the high expectation of new mutually shared prosperity. Above all, Prime Minister Modi's powerful innovation has led the re-emergence of India and brightened the future. Modinomics attached its wings to India to grow further with a policy on expanding infrastructure through the foreign investment and the manufacturing development with a goal of increasing the ratio of manufacture to the 25% of India industrial output by 2022. Also making India policy that results in job creation. Also, I'm very glad to see the India Act East policy has a lot in common with the new Southern policy implemented by President Moon Jae-in administration in the Republic of Korea. It's based on the 3 Ps, the people, peace, and the prosperity. Since in the inauguration of May 2017, the Moon administration has created a new economic map and promoted new Southern policy and a new Northern policy. India is the heart of the new Southern policy. I support the Moon administration effort to diversity diplomatic relations actively as a chairman of the Presidential Committee on Northern Economic Cooperation. Since Prime Minister Modi said in the previous Korea-India summit that Korea Plus had been established as an organization to give a helping hand to Korean companies investing in India. The collaborative spirit has intensified between two parties. Mahindra Group of India took over the Sangyong Motor Korea in 2011, while CJ Korea Express acquired the top Indian logistic company, Dassel Logistics, and merged it into the CJ Dassel last year. As such, the collaboration between companies in the two countries has been accelerated. I truly hope that India and Korea become a special partner in unexpectedly changing environment by trying to connect and integrate and sharing the fruits of the emergence. Befitting their reputation as IT powerhouse, as let us integrate our strengths, Korea hardware, India software, create new opportunity we couldn't have imagined previously in pursuit of remarkable growth. Incheon is the gateway city, Korean Peninsula. During my tenure as a mayor of Incheon City, I attended the 21st Century Global Green City Symposium via telepresence technology that connect the Bangalore and New York and Incheon, San Francisco. Together we have discussed on the matter of the sustainable growth plan for metropolitan city. Also, Indian scholar and the president of Cisco, Smart Connect Countries, Anil Menon, I initiated the project to build a new smart city. In the era of the post-industrial revolution, new values are being created from interconnectivity, the share of information, and the multinational cooperation. As a powerhouse of IT, Korea and India accumulated knowledge and experience will be the valuable asset to benefit both nations. If we amend the India-Korea Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, CEPA, is to advance mutually beneficial relation, and a step further, we can achieve even more progress. Overcoming the harsh time, Korean Peninsula Moon Jae-in has delivered a consistent message that Korea will make the Pyeongchang 2018 Olympic Winter Games a peaceful event and contribute to world peace beyond the Northeast Asia through dialogue between the two countries. I participated last days through the closing ceremony Winter Olympic Games Pyeongchang. Let me quote the sentence from the IOC chairman, Thomas Bach. I'm very impressed. He said, "You have shown how sports bring people together in our fragile world. You have shown how sports build a bridge." We are very impressed. We are North Korea delegation and athletes participate closing ceremony, open ceremony, and the joint march is very impressive event to we can reconciliate of the two countries. This is why Mahatma Gandhi's quote, "Non-violence is the greatest force at the disposal of mankind," still resonates today. In the same way, inspire everyone beyond the borders of India with his message on non-violence in peace. As the Prime Minister Modi wrote a heartfelt congratulatory message in Korea after Moon's election as president, I believe special strategic partnership will be enhanced. Also, we can work with the partners not only for economic cooperation, but also for world peace. In coming June and July, President Moon Jae-in is planning to visit India. This visit will be the excellent opportunity for the leaders of both nations to continue the dialogue from Hamburg, Germany. It will create momentum to advance toward the fruitful future of both countries. I truly hope today's event will provide a venue for active discussion where businessmen and the civil servant in charge of from both states and collect our wish and join forces together to create a new vision. I would like to express gratitude to Joseonilbo Bangsanghon, such kind of wonderful occasions to facilitate and enhance partnership between two countries. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I now request Mr. Paik Un-gyu, Honorable Minister for Trade, Industry and Energy from Korea, to present his special address.
Namaste. Good morning, Your Excellency Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Your Excellency Minister of Commerce and Industry Suresh Prabhu, Bang Sang-hoon, President of Joseon Ilbo, and the distinguished entrepreneurs from both our countries. On behalf of the Korean government, it is my great honor and privilege to attend the second Korea-India Business Summit. I find today's event very timely, and it is being held when Korea has proclaimed its new Southern policy, and India is pushing forward with its Act East initiative. In particular, we have Korean National Assembly members with us today, including Song Young-gil, chairperson of the Korean-Indian Friendship Association. We will be able to identify greater opportunities for bilateral cooperation beyond the economy spheres. Distinguished guests, since establishing diplomatic ties in 1973, Korea and India have developed a remarkable economic partnership over the last 45 years. At the beginning, bilateral trade volume stood at the mere $15 million. It has now grown to reach some $20 billion as of 2017, making Korea the 11th biggest country for investment in India. As this achievement was made possible thanks to your hard work and dedication. However, given the size of our two economies, we still have greater rooms for improvement in both trade and investment. The potential for bilateral cooperation is also immense. This is largely because India boasts a growth rate of some 7%, and Korea achieved both industrializations and informatizations in a short span of time. As our two countries face both challenges and opportunities presented by the fourth industrial revolutions, the demand for cooperation is even greater. Korea has been playing a leading role in the fourth industrial revolutions. Key technology such as AR, IoT, and the 5G technologies were put to use driving the Pyeongchang Winter Olympic Games. India, likewise, is leading this era of uncertainties with its Jugaad management philosophy, which indicate an ability to promptly use creativities under unexpected circumstances. This is clearly explained the reason why the CEO of Google, MS, Mastercard are all of Indian origins. In this light, if Korea frontier spirit of applying new technologies and India's Jugaad management of revolving emergencies with creativities are combined, we can surely create new windows of opportunities for the years to come. Distinguished guests, the atmosphere for bilateral cooperation is brighter than ever. President Moon Jae-in has pledged to elevate the partnership with India to the level of the four major powers surrounding the Korean Peninsula. Immediately following his inauguration, President Moon had a telephone conversation with Prime Minister Modi, dispatched a special envoy to India, and has shared cooperation visions through bilateral meetings during international events, namely G20s. Moreover, with the Korean New Southern policy, the Korean government is set to diversify its economic diplomacies while expanding its ties with India. India is also implementing its Act East policy to broaden its horizon to East Asia and the Pacific region, and therefore India invited guests of honor from 10 ASEAN countries on the Republic Day of India on January 26. With all these in mind, I would like to take this valuable opportunity to make proposal for win-win cooperation for both Korea, New Southern Policy, and India's Act East policy. First of all, we need to further expand bilateral trade and investment. To this end, I propose to swiftly conclude SEPA upgrade negotiations. By further opening the doors of trade and improving the rules of origin, the purpose of SEPA of expanding trade and investment will soon be realized. We should concentrate our capacities on finalizing the upgrade agreement to reach a balance of interest and bring more benefit to our enterprise and the citizens at the earliest possible date. Second, we need to enhance our cooperation in manufacturing. It goes without saying that India boasts an outstanding workforce and excellent fundamental technologies. It is also a well-known fact that the production cost of Mongolian, a Mars-proof developed by India, stood at the mere $75 million. Such cost is almost the same as producing the science fiction movie Gravities. Meanwhile, Korea has garnered top-notch technologies and mass production capacity in the industry sectors ranging from shipbuilding, automobiles, steelmaking to electronics. Based on our competitiveness, our two countries have already been closely cooperating in era of electronics and automobiles. Both governments will seemingly strive to enlarge cooperation in the manufacturing sectors. This will be surely achieved by enhancing one-step service for investment, corporations, and the various regulatory reforms. Thirdly, we need to strengthen bilateral cooperations in infrastructure, the backbone of economic growth. In this area, a number of cooperative projects are under discussion. Cases in point are smart cities, power infrastructures, energy-independent island, and highways. Unfortunately, these projects face some financial issues. One of the ways of addressing these issues is to leverage the financial package worth $10 billion agreed upon at the Korea-India Finance Ministers meeting last year. Cooperation in the infrastructure sectors will not only provide the formation for fostering India's manufacturing industry, but also provide solutions to its environmental problems. I can assure you that Korea will be reliable partners to India with its leading technology and ample experience in infrastructure, construction, and plant building. Lastly, we need to jointly respond to the fourth industrial revolutions. As mentioned above, Korea, India, and other major countries are facing challenges and opportunities presented by the fourth industrial revolutions. The Minister of Trade, Industry, and Energy of the Korea, and the Minister of Commerce and Industry of India, as well as the Minister of Science and Technology of both countries, are willing to make a joint effort in the industrialization, the fourth industrial revolution technology, by forming the Korea-India Future Strategic Groups. Again, against this backdrop, I sincerely ask you to direct your attention toward the activities of the Korea-India Future Strategic Groups and make greater use of them. Distinguished guests, the respected Gandhi once said, "The future depends on what you do in the present." I'm positive that if our two countries share mid to long-term visions and further cooperate Based on our competitiveness, we will soon bring the future of our dream into realities. I sincerely hope that you will take the lead in facilitating bilateral cooperation to deliver benefits. I wish all the best and much success to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. I now have the pleasure of inviting the Honorable Minister for Commerce and Industry, Government of India, Mr. Suresh Prabhu, to please address the gathering.
Most respected Honorable Pradhan Mantri Ji, my colleague and friend from Korea, the Honorable Minister for Trade, Industry and Energy, the President of India-Korea Friendship Society in the National Assembly, all my friends from Korea, my friends from India. Good morning to you. We are really honored by the fact that we have one of the largest ever delegation which has come to India from the business side. And if you really look at not just the composition, but the power of the delegation, the combined top line of these companies who are represented here is more than 90% of the GDP of most of the 90% of the country's GDP. So really speaking, it's a very important delegation, and therefore I really welcome you all to this particular event, for which I sincerely thank Mr. Bong Song-hun for bringing this as a leader of Bosu Nelobo, and I'm very impressed that in a short time we could put together one of the best possible business leaders who could come and visit India. At a time when India is on a, not only on a growth trajectory, but now on a takeoff stage to take the next level of development. And many things that you have mentioned, which has happened in India, including getting highest FDI, one of the most preferred destinations for investment, all of this is a result and a manifestation of the leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister, who really genuinely believes that we have to bring in not only development, but bring the development at a faster rate in a shortest possible time. And that's why several changes which are taking place in India are moving in that direction to realize that dream. Whether there are macro policy issues, whether there are structural reforms, or there are policy changes which are taking place in each of the sector. I'll just give one example because so many have been given. The stock markets, in the last 4 years, ever since the Prime Minister has taken over the leadership, has grown by 13% CAGR, the returns, 13% CAGR to the investors. And that shows that investing in India makes business sense, and therefore, I really like to welcome all of you. There are some countries where you have made more investment than in India. They obviously like your money, but do not necessarily like the Korean companies. Unlike that in India, we really love Korean companies, and in fact, I have not seen even a single cultural issue which has erupted whenever there has been a foreign direct investment coming from Korean companies into India. And that shows that Korean money is loved, but also the Koreans are loved. And therefore, you are really welcomed here, and therefore, we are looking forward to more investment coming from you. There is an open trade which our Prime Minister talked about in Davos, which is given shape in many forms. We welcome foreign investment in virtually all sectors, and whenever there was any impediment that was discovered, we are trying to remove it on an ongoing basis. And this is at a time when I said that Prime Minister's vision of New India, which is to change domestic India, domestic policies to transform our societies, our people, but we'll also like our friends like Korea to benefit from it by being a partners in this journey. And therefore, one of the things that we can draw inspiration from Korea is that in one generation, Korea could transform itself from a poor country to OECD membership. And therefore, what is possible to be done in a shortest possible time, we'll also like to do it here. And in that context, I again welcome you. Mr. Minister, you mentioned some issues, so are the others. Prime Minister directed me that we should look into all these issues, irrespective of the ministry which deals with this. I will be the one who will coordinate with other ministries and make sure that the Prime Minister's vision of bringing more investments into India, particularly from Korea, is realized without any of these problems being faced. There are certain difficulties which we'll explain to you properly. There are something which can be addressed, we'll address it clearly. I will just talk about 4 things, and there, which are the sectors in which, or which are the areas in which we can make investments. We have very clearly studied the import-export profile of Korea, and I will discuss it when we have a business delegation, but I'll just mention very broadly 4 areas. One, what can be done from India into Korea? One of the things, and for that, you have to make investments, FDI can be done. We are willing to look at even FDI for exports. One is the marine and food products. As you know, the agriculture products in India, 300 million tons of horticulture, 275 million tons of agriculture. Part of it can really be exported. And Korea is also importing some foodstuff, importing marine products. We have 7,600 kilometers of coastline. So we can actually use it by Korean investments, under Korean supervision, under Korean technology to be exported back into India. Chemicals, another area in which Korea imports, and India is a very large home for chemicals. In fact, Gujarat is one of the great providers of chemical industries based in India. Garments and leather, again, job producing here, but Korea imports it. We can come out with design products for you, and so is pharma and environment technologies, the new frontiers of change which will come into that. There are possibilities in which Korea can invest in India for third country applications, and that is research and development of Korean development, but also India's space technology, which has a huge potential, can be scaled up for other parties. The global value chain, and we can also create for this coastal zones using the import and export capabilities to do that. Startup, India startups, 20,000 of them, we need to scale them up. Korean companies can help these startups to scale up for global markets. Third, inbound investments into Korea. And there I think logistic, and I can offer you one suggestion that we can give a special area demarcated for Korean companies in which everything will be Korean, and therefore under the Delhi-Mumbai Industrial Corridor, some area can be identified only for Korean companies to invest. And the last one is the future industries, which all of you have mentioned about, fourth revolution and others, but future industries will be driving the growth of the world. And therefore, why we need to invest into existing industries, modernize them, making investments into future industries will be very critical, and there I think we can do it collaboratively, using India's strength, leveraging its knowledge with Korean competence. So let's look at all these possibilities during the course of next one day. We are looking forward to meeting you again during the day as well as in the evening when we'll have a quiet discussion over the dinner. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, I now have the pleasure and honor to invite the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, to deliver the inaugural address.
Minister of Trade and Industry and Energy of the Republic of Korea, Minister for Commerce and Industry, Government of India, President and the CEO of the chosen INBO Group, business leaders of Korea and India, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy to be here with you. Such a large gathering of Korean companies in India is actually a global story. I take this opportunity to welcome all of you to India. The relationship between India and Korea dates back centuries. It is believed that an Indian princess traveled to Korea and became a queen in Korea. We are also bound by our Buddhist traditions. Our Nobel laureates, Rabindranath Tagore, composed a poem, Lamp of the East, in 1929 about Korea's glorious past and its bright future. Bollywood films are also very popular in Korea.
And at the Pro Kabaddi League in India, a few months ago, some of the loudest cheers were reserved for a Korean Kabaddi player. It is also a good incident that India and South Korea both celebrate their Independence Day on the 15th of August. From princess to poetry and from Buddha to Bollywood, we have so much in common. As I have mentioned earlier, I have always been fascinated by Korea. I visited Korea when I was Chief Minister of Gujarat. I used to wonder how a country of the size of Gujarat can make such an economic progress. I admire the spirit of enterprise of the Korean people. I admire the way in which they have created and sustained their global brands. From IT and electronics to automobile and steel, Korea has given exemplary products to the world. Korean companies are appreciated for their innovation and strong manufacturing capability. Friends, it is heartening to note that our bilateral trade crossed $20 billion last year for the first time in 6 years. My visit in 2015 led to a positive focus on India. Your open market policies have found resonance with India's economic liberalization and Look East policy. Over 500 Korean companies are operating in India too. In fact, many of your products are a household name in India. However, the South Korea ranks only 16th in FDI equity inflow in India. India offers a lot of potential for the Korean investors with its huge market and enabling policy environment. Since many of you are already present in India, you already know the ground realities. Also, through your interaction with Indian CEOs, you must have already discovered the direction in which India is going. However, let me take a few more minutes. I would like to use this occasion to personally invite to India those who are not yet present here. If you see around the globe, there are very few countries where you have three important factors of economy together. They are democracy, demography, and demand. In India, we have all three together. The democracy, I mean the system based on liberal values which ensures free and fair play towards one and all. By demography, I mean a vast and talented pool of young and energetic workforce. By demand, I mean a big and growing market for goods and services. A rising middle class is creating further growth in the domestic market. We have worked towards creating a stable business environment, ensuring the rule of law and removing arbitration in decision making. We seek positively in day-to-day transactions. We are widening the areas of trust rather than digging into doubts. This represents a complete change of the government's mindset, a shift from issuing authority to business partner to achieve minimum government, maximum governance. And when this happens, simplification of rules and procedures starts automatically. After all, this is what ease of doing business demands. Through such measures, we are now working towards ease of living. We are on a deregulation and delicensing drive. Validity period of industrial licenses has been increased from 3 years to 15 years and more. The industrial license regime for defense production has been liberalized greatly. Nearly 65% to 70% of the items previously under licensing can now be produced without a license. We have said that factory inspection will only be need-based and only on authorization of the higher authority. In FDI, we are one of the most open countries now. Most of the sectors of our economy are open for FDI. More than 90% approvals have been put on automatic route. There is practically no requirement of government approval for investments in manufacturing sector except for defense sector. Incorporating a company along with allotment of statutory numbers is now just a one-day affair. We have carried out thousands of reforms on the business, investment, governance, and cross-border trading front. Some of them, like GST, are historic. Many of you might already be experiencing the ease in operations due to GST. We have earlier abolished more than 1,400 old laws and acts which were only complicating governance. Such measures have propelled our economy into a high growth trajectory. FDI inflows have grown the most in the last 3 years. There is a new energy and vibrancy in our domestic industry. A new startup ecosystem has been unveiled. With unique ID and mobile phone penetration, we are moving towards becoming a digital economy. Our strategy is to leverage the strength of hundreds of millions of Indians who have come online in recent years. Thus, a new India is emerging which will be modern and competitive and yet caring and compassionate. On the global platform, India has climbed 42 places in the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business Index in the last 3 years. We moved up to 90 places on the Logistic Performance Index of 2016 of World Bank. We have improved 31 places in last 2 years in the Global Competitive Index of the World Economic Forum. We have also moved up 21 places on the Global Innovation Index of WIPO in 2 years. We are among the top 10 FDI destinations listed by UNCTAD. Ours is a globally cost-competitive manufacturing ecosystem. We have a vast pool of skilled professionals with knowledge and energy. Now we have a world-class engineering education base and strong R&D facilities. In the last 2 years, we have moved towards a low tax regime on corporate side, where we have lowered the tax from 30% to 25% for new investment and smaller ventures. We are also working with the mission of transforming India from an old civilization into a modern society, an informal economy to a formal economy. You can imagine the range and span of our work. We are already the third largest economy by purchasing power. Very soon, we will become the world's fifth largest economy by nominal GDP. We are also the fastest growing major economy of the world today. We are also a country with one of the largest startup ecosystems. Our vision is to create a globally competitive industry and service base equipped with skill, speed, and scale. Therefore, we are continuously working to improve our investment climate. We particularly want to promote manufacturing in a big way to create jobs for our youths. For this purpose, we have launched a campaign called Make in India. This includes bringing our industrial infrastructure policies and practices to best global standards and to convert India into a global manufacturing hub. This initiative has been well supplemented by programs like Digital India and Skill India. Cleaner and greener development and zero defect, zero effect manufacturing is another commitment. We have committed to the world and are moving aggressively for adoption of better environmental technologies. I have said earlier that there is a huge potential for cooperation between India's software and Korea's IT industry. Your car making and our designing capabilities can be put together. Though we have become the third biggest producer of steel, we need to add a lot of value in it. Your steel making capacity and our resources of iron ore can be put together for better products. Similarly, your shipbuilding capacity and our agenda of port-led development can become a driver of our partnership. Housing, smart cities, railway station, water, transportation, railways, seaports, energy, including renewables, IT infrastructure and service, electronics are all very promising sectors in my country. India and Korea are major economies in the region. Our partnership has immense potential to promote regional growth, development, stability, and prosperity in Asia. India is turning to East for bigger economic engagement. Similarly, South Korea is trying to diversify its overseas markets. Both stand to gain by deepening their partnership. India, a huge and emerging market, it can also be a bridge for Korean business to penetrate the Middle East and African markets. You may recollect that the need for a hand-holding agency was felt during my visit to Korea. It was announced that a dedicated team would be established for Korean investments in India. Accordingly, Korea Plus was formed in June 2016. The mandate of Korea Plus is to promote, facilitate, and retain Korean investments in India. It is envisaged for the first reference point for Korean investors in India. Korea Plus has facilitated more than 100 Korean investors in a short span of about 2 years. It acts as a partner throughout the investment cycle of Korean companies. This shows our commitment towards welcoming Korean people and companies, India and investments. Friends, I would like to conclude by saying that India is now ready for business. India is now free destination for enterprise. You will not find such a free and growing market anywhere in the world. I further assure you, whatever is required to promote and protect your investments, will be done here. Because we value our investment and contribution in our economy. At a personal level too, I assure you of my full support whenever required. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. I now request Mr. Chandrajit Banerjee to propose a vote of thanks.
Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, Honorable Minister for Commerce and Industry of Government of India, Honorable Minister of Trade and Industry and Energy of the Republic of Korea, Secretary DIPP, the Government of India, Presidents, Chairs, Excellencies, Ambassador, senior government officials and business leaders from Korea and India, ladies and gentlemen. Honorable Prime Minister, we are most honored that you have graciously been present over here and inaugurated this India-Korea Business Summit 2018. It is always a pleasure and inspiration to hear your thoughts on a subject that is of great pertinence to the industry, both from India and Korea. Your vision would take India-Korea relationships to an even higher level in the times to come. As you have stressed, a strong and vibrant relationship between India and Korea is based on robust economic collaboration. Vibrant B2B and people-to-people interactions have become a hallmark of the bilateral relationships and further being enhanced under your visionary leadership. Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister, for your inspiring words today. I'd also like to thank India's Commerce and Industry Minister for his participation and for sharing his ideas on how we can take the India-Korea business partnership forward. His Excellency, the Minister of Trade and Industry and Energy of Korea, has provided valuable guidance on bilateral economic cooperation, and we thank you, sir, for leading this huge delegation from Korea. I'd also like to thank the Secretary DIPP, the Government of India, for leading us in organization of this business summit. A very special thanks to the President and CEO of the Chosen Elbow, our valued partner, the Korean Chamber of Commerce and Industry's Chairman and the President of the India-Korea Friendship Association of National Assembly of Korea. Our warmest thanks to you, and this is indeed an outstanding delegation that you have brought in from Korea. We are delighted and honored to have such high-powered business leaders as delegate members from the Republic of Korea. And we would really like to record our appreciation and thanks to each one of you to have come in such numbers and spend the next 2 days in India. And thank you, Excellency, the Ambassador of Korea to India and the Ambassador of India to Korea for their contributions to making this summit a reality. We are also happy to see an encouraging and a high-profile business presence from India, and we would like to thank all our Indian CEOs for really participating here. We look forward to good and meaningful discussions between the two businesses over the course of the day. Once again, I conclude, and I would like to thank our Honorable Prime Minister for his personal participation and giving this business summit such a significant start. Ladies and gentlemen, may I request you to kindly join me in appreciating the participation of our Honorable Prime Minister.
Ladies and gentlemen, with that, we come to the end of this inaugural session. May I request all of you to please remain in your places while our dignitaries leave the dais. Ladies and gentlemen, the next session begins at 10:50. This is a plenary session. India-Korea CEPA, a solid partnership, where to go. This begins at 10:50. Please join us for a short tea break. Tea is being served in the Raja Rani Bagh, which are the lawns outside. Please finish tea and be back in your seats by 10:45 so that we can begin the next session on time. Thank you all.